I'm playing something almost every week, and sometimes I want to talk about it and give you a vertical slice. So stick with me for some lightning reviews. This week on the chopping block. This week I've been playing Donkey Kong Bonanza. It's okay. Hey, look at that, it's me faking out a Nintendo review again. Look, I'm not doing a full video on any Nintendo game until they, as a company, stop being the equivalent of a throbbing dick blister. Between weaponizing the legal system against fans for emulating games that you can't buy anymore, sicking their lobbyists on the Stop Killing Games movement, and the general erosion of consumer rights on their platform, Nintendo as a company deserves outright societal contempt. If you want a genuine review of Bonanza, I'll put a Cliff Notes version on my community post section. Otherwise, I'd much rather talk about games that I think are far more interesting and deserving. Speaking of which, this week I've also been playing Tetris Effect. This is one I've owned for a while, but have been meaning to try, but only initially ended up playing it for some capture footage for another project I'm currently scripting. I put the disc in my PS5 thinking I just need some Tetris gameplay to serve as an example. 5 minutes and done. 3 hours later, I knew I needed to talk about it. Tetris, as any gamer TM knows, is a staple of the medium, and I would argue objectively the closest thing to a perfect game. To be distinctly clear, I did not say it's perfect, but the closest thing to a perfect game that humanity has achieved from a mechanical standpoint. The formula is simple. Use tetraminos as they fall to create solid lines of blocks. When a line is filled, it disappears and you are rewarded points. It increases in speed and difficulty as time goes on and you clear more lines. Easy to understand, easy to play, and easy to get absorbed into for some quick hit fun. I played it years ago on an original brick Game Boy, several other platforms, and have only appreciated it more as the years go by and I start thinking critically about games as a medium. That said, other than upgrading graphics and set dressing, I didn't really think that the formula could be all that much more improved beyond additional game modes. Holy shit, was I wrong. Tetris Effect doesn't really change anything about the basic and nearly perfected mechanics. What it does is focus on presentation and in the process made one of the most dynamic and engrossing musical game experiences I've had the pleasure of playing. Through strategic and masterful implementation of sound design and visual flair, your button inputs become instrument keys in composing the background tracks. Plus, as the level progresses in difficulty, the background imagery also adapts, evolving to match or complement the mood of the level. In what I'd argue could be considered the game's main campaign mode, speed doesn't only increase. It fluctuates up and down to generate moments of relaxation and decompression. It releases the tension and gives you a chance to breathe and appreciate the presentation, and that presentation is so strong, I dug out my slowly deteriorating PSVR headset and tried it there. Of a brief tangent, VR is a nice novelty, and even though it was pleasant, it didn't fundamentally change what I already consider a superb experience. Anyway, the main campaign mode is compelling enough, but there are also alternative modes that change the pacing or subtle objectives that can make almost any kind of experience you could think or want from Tetris. From score chasing to somewhat mellow relaxation modes. The other day I tried out an Infinite Infected mode and got sucked into a single hour-long play session of just zoning, and I loved it. If I had one chief problem to relay, it would be the limitations of my ability to communicate how genuinely pleasant this game is to play and feel in a review format. I earlier mentioned that this is just as much a dynamic musical experience as it is a game, and time after time your brain starts to rewire where, in addition to clearing Tetris lines, you start to facilitate a gameplay style of zen and harmony with the backing track. It's truly a beautiful experience. I'm not going to go so far or be so pretentious as to say it could almost be spiritual, although I'd like to. Look, it's rare that I will deliberately give instructions to my audience, but here's something. If you have ever found any degree of appeal or joy in playing Tetris in the past, buy and play this game. It will rock your understanding of the limitations of games by expanding the range at which they can be approached for improvement. I mean, I was playing this on my PS5, and when it comes on sale on Steam, I'm gonna buy it again! How's that for an endorsement? Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some GPUs to test. Hey, here's the real ending this time. Remember that I give away Steam keys with my regular weekly uploads, and all you have to do to enter is leave a comment and have contact info on your YouTube profile. But as always, thanks for watching and keep your head on your shoulders.